I can't hear anything. Let me get a different pair of headsets. Hold on. I can't hear anything.
Hey, Junkie Nation, how's it going? It's Kenshiro. How you doing? Sorry about that. I forgot to turn on my mic. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and start the show. It's Tuesday. It's video game time, like Dadakuji says in the chat. We hope you're going to enjoy this show. We're going to have fun bringing it to you. So first things first, let me introduce who's going to be on the show today. Of course, you got Santa, sitting right there amongst his collection of great toys, Mr. GQ. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, everybody. We're gonna have an awesome show.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. We got a double girl checking in. Oh, she's not in right now, but she'll join us in a minute. We got the great Daidakuji joining us. What's going on, man?
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
Indeed, that's a better Batman voice than Bale. I have to tell you that. That's for sure. We got the big Kahuna joining. What's up, man?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Uh, your Batman voice sucks. And rounding out the trifecta, Mr. Megashawn, you got a better Batman voice than both of them, or you not even gonna try?
Yeah, it's my voice. Squat once, squat twice, squat always.
Not bad,
I
man.
do
Not
them
bad.
squats on the toilet, man.
Okay, moving right along. Let's get to the news of the day, gentlemen. Of course, first things first. We just watched Agents of Shield, and of course, they teased what's going to be on Jimmy Kimmel tonight, which is going to be the Doctor Strange trailer, the first official one. Now, there's a fake one making the rounds out on Facebook right now. Ignore that. The real deal is coming tonight. What do you expect to see?
Greatness.
I expect
Um,
to see a Doctor Strange teaser trailer.
yeah, I
Wow.
mean, let's be honest. I didn't like Thor before the Marvel movie came out. I didn't like Ant-Man before the Marvel movie came out. I didn't even like Captain America before the Marvel movie came out.
Mhm.
So Doc Strange is also on that list of characters that I don't really care about.
Mhm.
So they've already cast an actor that I enjoy watching, and they haven't let me down yet. So until they let me down, I'm gonna, get behind most of their projects. So I'm gonna be interested to see this one.
Okay. Here's a little question for you. Did the teaser trailer move you to start to like Thor and Captain America and Ant Man,
No, it was
or
the
did you wait till the movies?
performances. It was the people they got in place.
Mhm.
That's one thing that they have, with the exception of, like Megason has said, Chadwick Boseman, but we don't know
Mhm.
what's gonna go down with that yet.
Mhm.
But everybody they put in place fits these characters like to a T.
Of
Like it
course.
makes them interesting to watch. It makes them like wow. It's like you can't imagine like anybody but Chris Hemsworth as Thor right now. Like Paul Rudd, like I didn't even, like I said, I've never really cared about Hank Pym or what's the other dude's name, Scott Lang or any of
Mhm.
them. I didn't care because Ant Man to me was a boring character in the fact of, oh, he can get big or he can get small. I'm like, okay, that's nice, but you're not Wolverine. That's usually how I used to think back in the day. So for them to get Paul Rudd into that role as Scott Lang, and then of course Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, it just made it really interesting to me.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, this is cool. I can get behind this. But and Marvel's been able to do that with like all of their weird, obscure characters because again, they don't have access to their heavy hitters. At least they didn't at the time.
Until Spider Man, right?
And well, yeah, so
Exactly.
it's like they're turning it around,
Mhm.
by getting Spider-Man, and who knows what they might acquire next. But not to make it an anti-DC thing, but DC's had access to all this stuff, and they still haven't made anything compelling.
Yeah, that's let's not keep beating that dead horse, even though you are
I'll beat it
you
until
love
it
to do
turns
it.
into
I know
some
you will.
glue.
I know you would. Adobe Girl has finally joined the chat. How you doing, lady?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good.
Uh,
How
so uh,
you?
we're good. How do you like? What are you looking forward to with the Civil War? I mean, not Civil War. Excuse me. Doctor Strange trailer that's coming out today.
Doctor Strange, I'm not quite too familiar with it, but my mind has been more focused on Civil War. So I guess, yeah, that's basically what I've been. I'm just doing this until the meantime. I'm waiting for Marvel, Marvel, Marvel. Yeah, so
Marvel,
I
Marvel,
I
Marvel
honestly
has
don't
kind of
know.
already started.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. So
Mhm.
as soon as that trailer is posted, we'll have it up on our fan page.
Okay.
Too sweet, so everybody can kind of comment and stuff on it. So anything else in news happened today?
Ratchet and Clank came out for PlayStation 4 today.
The tie-in, the video game tie-in to the movie about the video game.
Yeah, it's supposedly a reimagining of the first Ratchet and Clank game.
Mm-hmm.
And from the videos that I saw, now I can't tell if that's from the movie or the actual game, but I haven't had an opportunity to pop it in, being the fact I just got it in my hands about an hour and a half ago. So we will see.
Ladies and gentlemen, that nice little trinket that you just saw in the cellophane, it's gonna stay in the cellophane for another
It's
couple
not.
months. Yes, it will.
No,
Yes,
I
it
can,
will.
I can, I can, I can back him up on that. Latakuji's actually been a very, very avid Ratchet and Clank
Okay.
supporter, and
All
that
right.
and
I'll
Jack and
give him a
Daxter.
pass on
He's
that
he's
one.
a
I
he
guess.
is a platformer aficionado for
Okay.
sure.
All right. I'll give him a
And
pass on that.
you know,
I'll give him a pass on that. I'll give him a pass. Kahuna, you got any news today other than you posting every single possible thing you can on Civil War in the discussion group?
No, but I hope I find more soccer. I'm going to put it on your wall,
I
actually.
hate you. I hate you. I cannot stand you. If anybody can't tell, I am in complete Civil War lockdown. I don't want to see anything about this movie until that fateful day comes around, and it's getting closer and closer and closer.
I am looking forward to the Doctor Strange trailer though, and then what
Oh,
they're
of course.
talking about how they're planning on utilizing the 3D,
Hmm.
and if they can get the 3D right for this movie,
Yeah.
that's going to be amazing.
According to who was it that said it? I think it was Feige that said it. That the 3D is
Yeah.
going to be pretty trippy. It's going to be pretty trippy. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. So not to stay completely Marvel on the side of Marvel, we're going to switch over to DC. We got a little DC news. They showed a sizzle reel at CinemaCon which is going on this week, which is also where Civil War is. There was a DC sizzle reel shown to a lot of people, showcasing the DC cinematic universe, where it's been, where it is, and where it's going. One thing that kind of stuck out to me is Momoa said something in his part of the sizzle reel, saying that Aquaman is the only guy that is a hero but also a god. Uh, Aquaman's a god now. That's news to me. Anybody else? And I mean, they showed a little bit of Justice League. They showed a little bit of Suicide Squad, but the big news coming out of that was the confirmation that Ben Affleck's Batman is in production right now, and Ben Affleck is confirmed to be the director. Good news for DC. Chaos 1204. Howdy back.
Look, hello. Well, being the fact that the man apparently knows what he's doing when it comes to directing and writing, so if he has his hand in the writing and he is going to be directing it, I assume it'll be good unless, and this is the big caveat,
What is it?
those idiots that run Warner Brothers stick their nose in it.
Now, come on. You don't think they'll really do that now, do you?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, how long did it take for Fox to take? You know the reason why Fox didn't stick their nose in the dead shit. They said, "Here you go, Ryan. Do what you're gonna do, because it ain't gonna be shit." That's why they did that. So Batman is Batman, not Deadpool. Everybody knows Batman. Now more people know Deadpool, but back then nobody knew of Deadpool. And of course they're gonna try to stick their nose in it. We're gonna get a giant spider in that Batman movie.
how much you want to bet?
Please no.
How much you bet? How much you want to bet they're going to rehash the origin of his parents getting killed
Again. Yeah.
I guarantee you they're going to try to find some other weird camera angle to use. They're going to show it through the eyes of the attacker or something silly. It's just going to be some other goofy way that they can work that in there. Now, going back to the Aquaman thing, that's actually a copy of something Marvel did when they were advertising Thor. When they were going off and talking about the Avengers and, you know, putting the team together, they were like, okay, well, you guys know that there's a man in a suit and you know, the Beast or the Hulk or whatever at the time. They're like, yeah, but there's only one Avenger who's actually a god. And then they had the Thor thing show up. So I'm like, really? You guys can't even come up with an original statement about Aquaman?
But even Aquaman isn't even really a
That's what
god.
I'm saying. You're adding godhood to him all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not Poseidon or anything, man. Get out of here with that. Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
Maybe they're trying to say that he is, because he's not an alien. We all know this. He's just a different.
he's
species
half
of
human, half Atlantean. That ain't no
Let
god.
me ask you this question, being the fact that I do not read the comment. They might change that though. But
Hmm.
being the fact that I do not read the comic books, are all Atlanteans as strong as he is? Can they all control fish?
No, they cannot.
So he's the Atlantean god.
I think it might be something to do with his half human, half Atlantean heritage. It might have something to do with that. I'm not that well versed on Aquaman, so I couldn't really tell you.
I don't know. It all sounds fishy to me.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Wow.
Yes.
Well timed. Well timed. Speaking of non-origin stories, Kevin Feige has kind of been asserting himself a little bit as far as Spider-Man goes. Is confirming that Marvel will retain creative control when the Sony film, the solo Sony film comes out in like I think next year or a couple of years, and he also said that no, they will not be rehashing his origin again. No more Uncle
That
Ben
sounds
dying.
like great news.
Yes, it
I'm
does.
gonna say that's like wow, because somebody's finally getting it, and the people who's finally getting it is not the people at Marvel, because we already know that, but Sony. Somebody obviously said that Sony got to the people at Sony and say, look, you guys suck, and Sony was like, okay, all right,
Now
okay,
they
we
looked at
do,
them they looked at the
and
returns from
we
that
will
last
help you
movie.
out.
They looked
Hmm.
at the returns from that last movie and they were like, "Oh, dang."
Mm. Yeah,
Like,
we
oh
need a
wait,
little bit of help.
Disney's over there writing checks.
Yeah,
He
we need a
said
little bit of
Disney's
help.
writing checks. Oh, okay, well let's have him work with Spider-Man and see what he can do.
Megatron,
Exactly.
you sitting over there kind of munching away, man. You got anything to say? What you eating on there, man?
Of, of course I do. Well, I'm eating on a nice grilled chicken salad.
Huh.
But but in regards to Doctor Strange, I'm looking for a little bit of wizardry from, and then maybe a quick cameo of Benedict and Chew It All. As far as Thor being Thor, as far as Aquaman being a god, it is a little odd, but I mean, the man could be a god of the sea. He would essentially be Poseidon, which is very weird.
I
But
think
anybody
Poseidon
that
would
can
be
talk
mad
to a
about that,
shark,
seeing as how Poseidon is actually a character in the DC universe. I think Poseidon might
no.
have something to say about that. Anyway,
Well, I mean, hey,
Poseidon.
DC not going to use him, so he doesn't
hmm
exist.
yeah,
Oh,
Exactly.
I'm sorry,
To me,
I'm sorry, not DC, Warner.
yeah.
Aquaman is the new chicken of the sea.
There you go.
Oh, here he comes.
And
He keep him coming. Keep him coming, GQ. There we go. Keep him coming. Hey, Kahuna.
and as far as
What do you got to say about? I'm not sure how much of a big Spider-Man fan you are. Rumor has it that the villain for the Spider-Man solo film is going to be Mr. Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture.
Vulture.
The Vulture. Got any comment on that? Is that a good choice? I mean, we haven't seen him before, so what do you think?
I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't get the juices flowing or nothing
Doesn't
like that.
move the needle for you. There's nothing
Nah, it
really menacing about the
doesn't
Vulture.
do anything
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Come on, man.
The Vulture.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know
The
about
Vulture in
that
the
one.
cartoon was like a couple of boring episodes. I'm like, okay,
they
Yeah,
gotta
this
yeah.
old dude
they
flying
gotta
around in
like
his suit.
Uh huh.
they gotta like get like John Cena or Brock Lesnar, I don't care who, and put together Venom. Like get
Oh,
it
I wish I
done.
had the John Cena thing
No. They
queued.
don't see. They gotta.
Yeah.
They gotta work on some of the other stuff first. What I think I would love for them to do, actually, I would love for them if they did. They still need to do Craven the Hunter. Craven the Hunter would be something nice. But
That would be dope because I
yeah,
was kind of,
yeah.
when they were teasing the Sinister Six
Uh
thing.
huh. Uh huh.
That's who I was kind of anxious
Craven
to
the Hunter
see.
would be cool. Mysterio could be done pretty well as well. Depending on, because they could play up the whole when Spider-Man kind of started in showbiz and he had all these tricks and stuff like that. The next thing, the first supervillain that he faces would be the master of illusion and tricks, Mr. Mysterio himself. I think that would actually be pretty good.
But
Um,
wait, isn't
mhm.
this Spider-Man high school aged?
Yeah, and he fought Mysterio and he fought Vulture and all of them at that time too. So.
I understand that, but I just don't want to see like another cheesy villain. It's like, look, you finally got him back under the guise and control of the House of Mouse run Marvel Studios. You can do something amazing with him that we have not seen yet. Nothing like silly, nothing cheesy, nothing like just no, do something just mind blowing. Like, holy crap, they finally got Spider-Man doing something Spider-Man is worthy of, not fighting the Vulture.
Mhm. Hmm.
That's just. I'm not saying bring Carnage in or nothing, but doggone it, bring somebody in that makes it like wow.
It
You
makes the
can have
needle
like an
move. I get it.
amazing fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Mysterio, okay, yes, true enough, it's illusions and all that fun stuff, but that's not going to be much of a battle.
It
Vulture,
could
okay,
be.
cool.
It
We get
could
a whole
be.
bunch of
Craven.
flying
I
around
think
the
Craven
city.
would be dope.
Yeah, Craven would be cool
Craven would be
because you would
pretty
at least
sweet.
get somebody that could match him, on a physical level to an extent. But no, because the Vulture fight's just going to be the Electro fight with wings instead of electricity. It's
It
going
could
to be the
work.
same thing. It's going to be the same thing.
Okay. Let's throw it around real quick. Who outside of Craven, Venom, Carnage, who was mentioned, um, and the Vulture, would you like to see done? Would we like to see another go round of Doctor Octopus?
No, Morbius.
Morbius. Interesting. Michael
And
Morbius.
then and then you find Megatron and cast him as Blade. Ball game.
Oh my man, my man, my man. Okay, well, let's go ahead and let's move on. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna recap Agents of Shield. I haven't been able to find a good Agents of Shield in white. I have to make up something to make the nice little recap logo graphic. So I don't have it ready, so I'm gonna have to type this out by hand. But anyway, today's show deal with some of the fallout of last week's show. We got some pretty cool. Uh, we did get some. We did get some pretty cool fight scenes today. Well, actually, there was really just one really to talk about, and that would be Mark Dacascos versus Ming Na Wen. That was pretty good. Hand of Omega says Silvermane. For Spider-Man, I don't know about that. Anyway, oh, and we also kind of saw Gideon Malik dealing with a lot of flashbacks. Kind of upset the pacing of the show, in my opinion. But what do you guys think of today's show?
It just solidified that Ward to me, or whatever you want to call him,
Mm-hmm.
Hive,
Hive. Yep.
is essentially a villain after my own heart. Like, I love everything that he's doing. I
Mm-hmm.
like the way he just doesn't really care about what people's feelings are,
Mm-hmm.
about any of that. It's like, look, it's like he had Malik thinking the whole time that he was going to kill him, and then nope, 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 gonna switch it on you and make you, basically witness the worst possible pain that any parent could ever
Oh man.
witness.
Oh
So
man.
to me, I'm like, dude, he's
Mm-hmm.
doing everything. He's following all the beats of a classic Machiavellian, just awesome, overarching villain, and
Indeed.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, that actor is welcome to my dinner table at any time.
Kahuna, any thoughts on today's episode? Any other thoughts, I should say?
Not much. I mean, it was a pretty cool episode. Got to see cool little fight scenes. Got to see High finally reveal his true form, Davy Jones.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, they weren't going to show his face. They had to show him from the back. Maybe they'll do
Right.
that with the end of the season run. Maybe we'll see his face, but it wasn't there yet. Go ahead. What else did you like about the show today?
Oh, that's pretty much about it. I mean, I like to reveal that it was Malik's brother who was the sacrificial lamb.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that little plot point was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it was a pretty good episode.
So does that make you think that Malik wanted to bring him back over just so he could get revenge for his brother?
Who knows? Malik's a punk ass bitch.
No, Malik said he sacrificed everything to bring him back because that was his brother.
Yeah, but he didn't sacrifice. You remember what he
Oh, yeah,
said
yeah.
when
I
what
think I get it.
happened? He
Yeah, I
said,
get
"Now
it.
you
Okay.
know what a real sacrifice is."
Mm-hmm.
Right,
So,
right.
like, he wasn't sacrificing anything. He couldn't sacrifice himself because he's a punk ass bitch.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Okay. So, this season so far for Agents of Shield, I know it kind of got interrupted with the break, and it's kind of been rebuilding a little bit as it's been going. But I think this season has been pretty strong. Has anybody else share that opinion?
Oh yeah, most definitely. The only problem I have is that that's one of the shows, Flash and Agents of Shield. I like to watch live. That doesn't happen too often. Most times I can wait until the next day to watch anything via Hulu. Send a check,
Hmm.
um, or give it to me for free forever. No, but
I'll take that.
I, yeah, exactly. But those are the two shows. But being the fact that we have this show and our meeting, as you may or not know, starts about the same time, it's kind of difficult to actually sit and watch it and pay attention to it. That's a little like
I think we did a good job today. Yeah, I think we
we
did a
are
good job.
doing a great job. I got to see, I forgot that it came on today, so I caught at 9:15 and I watched till about 9:45. So
That's good
I got
enough.
the gist.
Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. GQ, what did you think about the fight that went on between the Cavalry and Mark Dacascos' right hand man to Hive and Malik? What'd you think of that scene?
I
Was
don't
it
I
everything that
don't
we
like
wanted?
stunt doubles. I don't like stunt doubles when there's people that I know that have the skills to do their fight scenes. Mark Dacascos' character, you can see a couple of obvious stunt double portions, and it's just like, dude, I know you're getting old, and Iron
Hmm.
Chef has probably softened you a little
Hmm.
bit, but damn it, you can still do it.
Yeah,
So
especially that
I was kind
first
of
big flashy move that he did. Yeah.
yeah. It's like that's all. In a set, not only that, it made it worse because they fought in an all white room and they're
Hmm.
wearing black, so you have no. Your eyes are drawn to them
Hmm.
specifically, and it's
Hmm.
just like, dude, that's not you. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
fight
don't
looked.
understand why they did that because like I said before, he was a recurring villain on Hawaii Five O, and he had a lot of fight scenes on there, which he did his own. So
Yeah,
I don't
so
know why
I
they
was looking at this and I'm like, dude, I know you're better than this. It's like, why are you letting a stunt double do this? So it just, it takes you out of it a little bit. And plus, I don't like super up close shaky cam when it's not necessary. And this one definitely didn't need shaky cam because both of them are trained martial artists. So they could have stayed a little bit wide and let them have some really cool, moments. But they didn't. So I mean, again, and it's TV, so you don't really get a million and one takes to do it either. You just kind of have to make it work. But for those two to go at it, I would have rather have seen wider angles and better basically just better cinematography on those parts.
Hmm.
But it was still a cool moment because you knew
Oh
it was
yeah.
coming.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think we were waiting for the instant Mark Dacascos appeared on the show earlier in the season. That was definitely something we were waiting for. He was like, oh yeah, him and Meg gonna get it on. Yeah, we pretty much knew that was gonna happen. So I think that part, to me, I thought it was pretty satifying. But moving
Yeah,
forward,
when he got locked in the room and they panned over and it showed May standing there, I
oh
was like,
yeah, oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You were like, oh yeah, it's on. It's about to be on now. So okay, let's see. I think we're done. Where do you think it's going to end up being? Do you think Ward's going to buy it? Do you think he's going to survive? Because a lot of supervillains in Marvel, they usually die and they're pretty forgettable. The TV version doesn't seem to suffer that fate. We kind of thought absorbing man was dead and gone after last season. That turned out not to be true. He came back, and I thought that was really good. And you also had who else came back? Well, Ward himself turned villain and died, and then came back. But do you think at the end of the season they're going to kill Hive, or do you think he's going to end up being a recurring thorn in their side?
I mean, I think it depends on how powerful the character really is supposed to be. A lot of people like to say that Marvel villains are forgettable. It's like, okay, they're only forgettable if you're not paying attention to why or how they got killed. Like, the forgettable thing always comes up for Ronin and for Malekith and all that. And it's like, okay, but they got killed by Infinity Stones. It's not like they like went out, stabbed in the back and like, oh, they're dead. Like, no, they got killed by ultimate power. So to me, that's not really a forgettable death. It just means that you just ran up against something that you weren't going to beat, and Thanos is the only person that you're supposed to be caring about anyway.
Hmm.
As far as Hive, I mean, TV, obviously they can drag it on as long as they want because it's like, look, we obviously Ward has been around for every single season, and at first, as soon as Ward turned, everybody thought, okay, he's going to get killed. That's going to be into his character. It's like, no, they kept finding ways to bring him around. So I
And
think Hive is going to stick. Yeah, I think Hive's
he's
going to
such a
stick
big
around.
fan favorite that I don't see them killing him off no time. So
Nope.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool if he does manage to stick around. That was definitely something that I thought was good for the character because Brent Dalton is one of the better actors on the show. I think we can all agree in saying that. He's shown tremendous range from the beginning of his time on the show till now. Playing the emotionless Hive is kind of like a new thing for him. He can really vamp it up and be the villain now, and I think he revels in it. So I do think he's going to stick around, and I think that's going to be pretty cool if he does manage to stick around. So, in any case, let's move on. We're going to get to the main topic, and you guys are going to enjoy that. But first, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everybody about the contest we're doing right now, and it is for Civil War tickets. We're buying. We're gonna treat the winner to free dinner, free movie, and some really badass T-shirts that GQ ended up buying for everyone. So if you haven't entered the contest yet, you really are kind of doing yourself a disservice for not going ahead and entering the contest. I'd encourage everybody to go ahead and do it. Please make
You
sure
have a
that you join.
chance to win
You
all
have
of
a
that
chance.
for a
You get
5-second video.
5 seconds. That's all it takes is 5 seconds. No, look, all you got to do is take the video and submit it, and then you're done with it. And it's over with. You don't even have to keep it on your Instagram after you're done with it. That's fine. Those of you that haven't seen the video, I would love to show you the video right now. So why don't you go ahead and check this out.
What kind of junkie are you?
Contest runs April 11th through April 20th. How would you like to see Captain America Civil War for free? Record a 5-second video on your Instagram with this hashtag that says, "Hi, I'm blank and I'm a blank junkie. What kind of junkie are you?" Kind of like this.
Hey, it's Miao Yen. I'm a movie junkie. What kind of junkie are you?
Contest runs April 11th through April 22nd. Winners will be announced on our fan page on April 25th. Contest rules and terms are on the Culture Junkies fan page. One winner will be chosen randomly. Must be at least 18 to enter.
Hey everyone.
All right, everybody. So please, the contest is going to run until next Friday, midnight. Next Friday. Actually, that's not true. It's going to be like 11:59 p.m. That's when it will end. And then the contest will be over. There's not a lot of entries right now. You have a really great chance to win. If you aren't going to enter yourself, you really should. And then pass it along to your friends. They should enter too. It's only 5 seconds. It's not going to kill you. So let's move on to the main topic. And we're going to do a game segment right now. Yesterday, we were mulling over what would be a good topic for us to go ahead and do. And one thing that we kind of all came up with was that we wanted to talk about retro games and their remakes and how they compare to some of the modern games. Now, to clarify what we're going to determine as what is retro. The retro era begins all the way back at PlayStation 1. PlayStation 2 moving forward is still considered modern era, even though some of the PlayStation 2 games can almost be considered retro in some cases, but for the purposes of this, we're just going to go ahead and say that it is in the modern area. So first off, one of the things that we actually discussed was the modern version of Ninja Gaiden versus the retro version of the original game, 1, 2, and 3, and whatever Game Boy Advance games came out for, or whatever. Which ones would you say that you had the most fun with? Let's start with GQ because he's definitely played both of them. So why don't you take 3 minutes and say which one do you feel is the one that you got the most fun out of?
Which one? What?
Which version of Ninja Gaiden did you have the most fun with?
Ninja Gaiden 2 for the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the bloodiest Ninja Gaiden games ever. You could cut off limbs, you could cut off heads, there was a scene in that game where there was a pyramid you were climbing where it was about 40 or 50 ninjas rushing you at all times.
Mm-hmm.
You could pick up new weapons. You had a scythe that you picked up from a demon werewolf that could basically cut people in half. That was basically the best reimagining of an old property to date.
Hmm.
And there, to me, there's never been another game that surpassed that. That is still to this day, and I really wish that the PlayStation 3 version didn't dumb down the violence and dumb down the number of characters on screen, because they easily, with superior hardware, could have done
Wait a minute.
the
Wait a
true
minute.
definitive
Wait a
version
minute.
of that game.
Wait a minute. You're breaking my heart here. I actually went and bought that version because I thought, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I went and bought that version. It's not like the Xbox 360 one. Oh no.
Yeah, that was the really, it wasn't even so much a mistake on Sony's part. It was a mistake by Team Ninja under
Hmm.
the head of their new guy, because he wanted to, like, try to switch things up and make it not as bloody. I'm like, why would you do that? The game is
Mm.
supposed to be bloody.
Yeah, that's what it
And
made its
then when Ninja
success
Gaiden
on.
3 came, yeah, and then when Ninja Gaiden 3 came out, they just completely screwed the pooch and tried to make it overly bloody, and then they forgot that, oh wait, the game's actually supposed to be difficult. So it's just, Ninja Gaiden 2 honestly was the best version of Ninja Gaiden that's ever come out. Like, period. The old versions and the old NES game and even the old arcade game were definitely fun, but they don't compare when you are cutting people's limbs off and heads and all that other good fun stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, that was good. Kahuna, what? ha- you're not really into games lately. Um, so maybe I'll go to Datakuji. Actually, no, I'll go to Adobo Girl. Adobo Girl, we haven't heard from you in a while. Uh, what game versions have you played? You played a lot of Tomb Raider. Have you played the new Tomb Raider and the old one? What about okay? Oh,
Actually,
Mario. Mario. There we go. Mario. Mario. Because you played. I
okay.
remember you infamously said that when you got your hands on Super Mario Galaxy, you did some kind of a binge session with Super Mario Galaxy. Like your husband Dadakuji found you still awake after he had gone to bed for a long, long time. Uh, so why don't you talk
It's not
about?
just with that game.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just with that one. Okay,
yeah.
but
It's
but
not
but
just with that game. It's with a lot of games that I kind of like lose myself in. I guess you could call me super retro because I love 2D to death. Like, give me two-dimensional, give me side scrollers. I can play those. I remember going to Best Buy, way back in the day, and it was like Mario 64 or something, and they had the whole wall like, what you call it? It was displayed on the whole wall, and I just kept running into the wall. I couldn't do 3D for anything, so that's probably why I I was up all night trying to figure out how to do Mario Galaxy, but. Um, some of my favorite games, and I can pop them back into the system, are like Bust a Move and Bubble Bobble and a lot of Konami games. I
mhm.
like a lot of these, especially first-person shooters. One of my nearest and dearest friends. She's a Call of Duty. You know, she can snipe anybody. I tried playing that with her once, and I basically
Died
I
all the
felt
time.
the same. Not only did I die, I felt like I was really car sick. Same way when I saw
Hardcore
what do you
Henry.
call it? Hardcore Henry.
Hmm.
I had to look away, and when I looked back at the screen, I was dead. So I was like, man, yeah, I was just like, forget it, you know. So, but yeah, I guess what year is retro? Like from what year to what year? Because I
Well,
guess
it's hard to nail down the year, so we're just gonna go by the systems. So if you want to start
okay,
with N64, PlayStation One, and moving backwards, basically anything that was done on CD or cartridge we'll consider retro. If it was
okay.
DVD and Blu-ray, it's considered modern.
Okay, yeah, I'm totally retro then because the last time uh, I was able to just get my gaming on until I married my husband, where I I had access to his library and everything, was pre PlayStation 1. Like the last system I owned myself was a Super Nintendo. So wherever I gamed, it was whenever I went to anybody else's house. So I love the crap out of my Nintendo and my Super Nintendo, and I guess that's why even till now I have a DS, and I'll game more on that than I do on on my cell phone. People tell me, "Oh, play Candy Crush." I'm like, I don't want to deal with in-ad purchasing. Just let me play my game and let me enjoy my time. So yeah, that's basically it. Um,
Well,
yeah.
let
So
me let me bring this up to everybody in the panel. I'll present it to all of you. Well, actually, no. I'll ask it to your husband, your dearest husband, Dadakuji. This wasn't necessarily the game I was going to ask you about, but I'm going to ask you about it anyway because Hooper Love 23 brought it up in the chat, and he said there is something about the appeal of retro games, and I'm sure you can appreciate that, seeing as how you pretty much have a lot of them anyway. But one game that he brought up about the simplicity of the older games compared to the modern versions, and I think it's fairly relevant, seeing as how the latest iteration is getting ready to come out this year. Final Fantasy as a series. Did you like it better? Did you like it better when it was, in the retro, or do you like it better now that it's modern and it's kind of moved forward? Speak on that a little
That's
bit.
a
That's a
that's
good
a
one.
toughie because
Yeah, that's a good one though.
let's see, I didn't play Final Fantasy One on the NES. I didn't play Final Fantasy One until they re-released it on the Game Boy Advance,
Mhm.
and it still had the same appeal. It played exactly the same. It just had prettier graphics.
Mhm.
And Game Boy Advance to some people is considered retro because it's like 3 generation handhelds ago or two or so. So like I really enjoy the retro aspect of the Final Fantasy or any JRPG because they basically started out like that. But when they started getting
Mhm.
modern looking
Mhm.
and cinematics left and right and all that
Mhm.
stuff, and still had the retro gameplay, i.e., Final Fantasy X, that I lost it. I can't do turn-based, good-looking modern turn-based games anymore.
Mhm.
If it's going to be an RPG that I'm going to play, if it's going to be turn-based,
Mhm.
retro all the way. I want my
Mhm.
Final Fantasies. I want my Chrono Triggers. I want my Wild Arms. If people remember that Legend of Legaia, is that called Legend? No, that's Legend of Dragoon. I'm thinking of, or
Yeah, he's
I
throwing them
can't.
out there. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's throwing
Yeah,
them out there.
those I can do. I can do those. I can do those turn based.
Okay.
But if
Well,
you're
let
gonna get
me.
modern, no, don't give
Oh,
me turn based. Give me real time, and I'm happy
okay.
that
Well,
I
then
think the
now that
demos
you've
are fine. Hold
experienced.
on, let me finish.
Okay. Okay.
You cut me off real quick. I'm about to ramble. I'm about to tell you about Final Fantasy 15, and I like that it's not turn based because if it
Mhm.
was, man, they could have killed that game.
Mhm. Well, okay. How about this though? And you still got a minute and a half to kind of expound upon it. Which one, now that you've experienced both, which one do you find more fun? I mean, to be honest, I mean, if you had to prefer, which one did you like better? I mean, do you like turn-based or you like the more active battle style?
I gotta have I got well it's depending on what I'm playing. I don't necessarily think one is more fun than the other one. I mean, turn based can definitely get more tedious when you're grinding. Oh my gosh, come on now. But and that's just how it was back in the day. That's what you did. So you didn't play the game necessarily for the gameplay. You played for the story to see what's gonna happen to these characters. That's still the case now. But I like being I feel more in the game when I'm doing something and I'm not just hitting a button saying attack or which magic spell I want to pick. But if it's retro, I can't even see action RPG in that aspect being retro. I mean, they kind of
Hmm.
tried with Zelda 2, and Zelda 2 is probably like the least favorite Zelda game for some
Yeah.
people. I'm kind of
Yeah.
in that same category. But I like what they did with Final Fantasy 15. I can tell you that. And a lot of people say it plays like Kingdom Hearts. Well, I friggin' love Kingdom Hearts.
Hmm.
So that should tell you something.
Yeah, it does. So thank you for that, sir. Moving right along, Mega Sean, you are now up. I need you to chime in on something, and this isn't a knock on you or anything or any of your past history, but uh, our boy House Riley, he brought it up. The Lord of the North himself brought it up. What about Grand Theft Auto? Going
Oh,
from the retro style of the PS1, where it's the top down, to the open world version of the modern world. GTA 3 obviously was revolutionary in that aspect. So,
yes.
which one did you? What did you like about both? Which one do you prefer now?
Okay, well, I've always been what was that? As the great Randy Savage said, the cream always rises
As it,
to the top. So I never actually played the top down or the God view, because to me it just looked boring and didn't really make sense.
hmm
And at that time, I was more Madden Mario, not Mario, Madden Live. I think that was it. And God of, no, not God of War. I don't even remember what games were even on the PlayStation.
hmm
But to the Grand Theft point, I was, once it evolved into 3D, I remember being in Votech and on those Mac computers watching
wow.
video, watching, I'm sorry, on those Macintosh computers, watching trailers of this game and downloading QuickTime videos and getting really excited about the game. But I had never had never played Grand Theft Auto before. And there was people telling me about it. Oh yeah, man, you could do this and you could do that. And even now, when I would look at the older versions, I'm like, how does anybody like how are you stealing a car or shooting or it just doesn't make sense to me. But I'm all about the newer ones. I'm all for, I love them. I love them.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I'm gonna challenge that assertion. There's no retro. Okay, here's a good one. And Adobo Girl kind of brought it up, and I'll throw this one at you since you're a sports guy. We're both sports guys. We like our sports. Remember how fun it was to play double dribble back on the NES, man? Remember how I mean, remember
Yeah,
how simple it was? Just you throw the game in. Of course, you go you blow the dust off. You put it in there, or you hit it with some alcohol swabs. Put it in there. Turn on the Nintendo and run your own little playoff system. Remember how fun it was to just pick that up and just go. Whereas now you kind of
yeah, and I
got
would,
some of the frustrations of 2K. I've seen you, man. We've been in these battles and you get frustrated. Like, oh, come on, 2K with this nonsense. Remember all that stuff. So would you prefer the simplistic version of Double Dribble or have more like the 2K stuff where it's photorealistic?
well, well, going back to all of those games, whether it's Bulls versus Blazers or whatever the game
Oh,
might
my
be,
man. Oh, yeah.
those games were relatively more difficult than the games now because there really wasn't a jump shot pattern. Like like if you had Michael Jordan, chances are that the shot might go in. But I remember trying to do dunks and it was just beyond difficult just to dunk the ball.
hmm
So I would never want to return. The only game that I would ever not mind playing again is Super Tecmo Bowl. Other than that, any game, and
That
actually
was the
even
truth,
these
man.
games now I don't want to play yet, but minus Super Tecmo Bowl or maybe RBI baseball. I wouldn't
Oh,
touch none of
man.
them.
Oh,
I wouldn't
man.
touch none of those old games.
Wow. Hitting them with the old RBA baseball.
But I'm all for the progression. Like I don't want to go back. I don't have any. I don't want to. Hey man, I don't want to go play Mario and
hmm
go get 89 lives. No, I'm all about the progression. You have
Okay.
mentioned Tomb Raider.
hmm
Granted, she's not as bustful as
hmm
she once was, but damn it, she's more deadlier of a killer. So I'm all for it. So I'm
Yeah.
all about the progression.
Cooper Love throws out to counter your RBI baseball. He says bases loaded was the stuff, and everybody loved bases loaded. Bases loaded was the truth
I
back in
was
the
more
day.
of a baseball
Oh yeah.
stars
Yeah,
myself.
baseball
I
stars. That was
hated.
that was
I
more
never.
the.
I never liked bases loaded. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
talking about.
He doesn't like sports games. Period, man.
I
So I
don't
don't
like.
even know why
I
he's
don't like.
saying
I
that.
don't like any. I don't like any football game unless it's NFL Blitz
Or
or
Mutant League.
Mutant League.
hmm
I don't like any baseball game because they haven't come up with an equivalent yet. I don't like
hmm
any hockey game except maybe original NES
Okay. Well,
ice
what
hockey.
about that in that Neo Geo one 2020 baseball where you
No,
had the cybernetic
it's
implants and all that kind of stuff?
no. It's still. First of all, I played baseball when I was younger. Baseball is the most boring sport in the world,
hmm
next to like I don't know curling. I mean, let's
Golf.
just be right. Let's just be realistic. I mean, like I like
Curling.
sports where the whole point is to hurt the other person.
Yeah, I understand.
So
I get it.
boxing,
Okay.
even boxing
Ooh,
games are
ooh,
like not even
ooh.
fun
I'm,
anymore.
I'm, I'm glad you said boxing because Lord of the North, Mr. House Riley brought up something, and I want Kahuna to chime in on this one because hopefully he's played some old school boxing games, whether it be you know, Ring King or Punch Out, or maybe if you want to go a little bit forward to James Buster Douglas boxing or George Foreman's boxing or what was dude's name? The other dude, I forget. Riddick Bowe boxing on SNES. I loved Riddick Bowe boxing. I thought it was really good. And he also brought up EA's Fight Night series. Um, Kuna, did you play any of those? And would you? I mean, and if you had a chance to play UFC, the modern UFC games, and those things are full of glitches. There's some funny glitches rolling around out there right now. But which would you have preferred? The more arcadey style boxing, or would you prefer like the more realistic stuff like UFC and Fight Night? I guess you can consider Fight Night to be more modern. What do you think?
When it comes to retro games, that's when I used to actually play sports games and all that. So I played them all when it comes to retro, but I do prefer the more advanced ones. I loved Fight Night when Fight Night first came out. I was hooked on that for a minute, and so was with UFC. And I think the last UFC game I owned was the one with Brock Lesnar on it. I forgot which one that was. I think that was 2010 or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, when it came to retro, I played all the sports games like GQ said, the NES Ice Hockey, NBA Jam, Tecmo Bowl, Double Dribble. I used to play all those games. So yeah, when it comes to retro games, I can definitely talk about those because I've played them all. Just a quick little story. I just remembered when it was I started losing my passion for games. It was Nintendo 64.
Superman
And it was
64? Did Superman 64 do it to you?
no. It was GoldenEye, and
It
I'll
was
tell you why.
GoldenEye. GoldenEye
I'll
made you
tell you
lose your
why.
passion. What?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It wasn't the game itself.
Okay.
It was that out of nowhere, all of a sudden, my brother, we would battle all the time, and he started whooping my ass. It was like he woke up one day, I lost all my video game powers, and he gained them all, and he would just beat me so badly. And it was like, it just took my will away from playing video games.
What was he using? Odd job?
No. It was just, I don't know. For some reason, I woke up and I just started sucking. Like, I was just, like, started getting horrible all of a sudden. And from then on, every time me and him played, even when it came to fighting games, and I was really good at fighting games, he would start whooping me. And it was just like all my skills transferred to him. And it's just like slowly my love for video games just
How,
started to deteriorate. It's
how,
like he just took my
how does
will
one
away.
how does one lose their hand-eye coordination like that?
You
That's a
should have
foreign that's
checked
a
your.
foreign
You should have
concept to
checked.
me.
I
You
have
should
no
have
idea.
checked around your bed to see if there was a circle drawn around your bed with
I
some
know,
pins in
right? I know, a
Exactly.
magic
that you
circle. I
didn't know
know,
about.
right?
Somebody put some bad juju on me or
'Cause that,
something.
that that
Hmm.
don't sound right. Something about that just don't sound right, man. We've been playing
Because
games forever. I ain't lost my skills. Forget it.
even when it came to like when Xbox came out and Halo was out, he was like, I swear to God, he just woke up one day. All of a sudden, my brother was like really good at games. And it came to first person shooter. I couldn't focus my hand coordination. I'm like, every time I'm trying to aim, my fucking player is doing this shit. I'm like spinning all over the place trying to aim my thing, and I just slowly stopped playing video games. I was still going to arcades, but then of course, that's when arcades started slowly dying away.
You sad, sad, sad man. Sad man.
Sad man. I
Sad,
know.
sad man.
Sad panda.
Yeah, sad panda. In any case, let's talk about Megashawn brought it up. Let's talk about Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is kind of almost stuck in the middle. It's just barely on the retro side. But it's more on the modern side nowadays. Of course, a few years back we had the reboot of Tomb Raider, whereas Laura wasn't rich and having like a whole bunch of cool tech gadgets or the dual pistols like she used to have back in her previous iteration. Um, GQ was a mega Tomb Raider fan. Which do you prefer? Which one do you prefer?
Honestly, the original Tomb Raider was amazing. It was great. It was, ahead of its time, so to speak. Even for the really wonky, everything's on a square control
Hmm.
pattern.
Hmm.
But that was fun. I mean, it was the first time you really could, run, shoot, flip, shoot, all this other crazy stuff that she could do. and it was also the puzzle thing. It was essentially Indiana Jones with a female lead. So I mean, it was very cool. But to me, the best Tomb Raider game, even excluding the modern ones, is Tomb Raider Legend. Tomb Raider
Mm-hmm.
Legend, when they redid that and made that game, that felt like everything that you wanted on the original Tomb Raider brought to modern graphics,
Mm-hmm.
great control scheme, and they gave
Mm-hmm.
for melee attacks. So it's just like, why didn't they continue that on instead of rebooting? Because like to me, that game was flawless. That was like
Dude,
one of the first Xbox 360 games that I got all achievements on.
I am not
Like
kidding you.
completely like,
Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
kidding you. That thing was fantastic. Even the story was a lot better. I mean, the way it
right.
carried over, the way they made that like a trilogy between that, what was it, Tomb Raider, it was Tomb Raider Legend, Tomb Raider, um, damn, what was that?
Underworld.
Was it Underworld? But what was the one
Hmm.
that took place in the middle? Because Legend came after that one. What was the one that was in the middle? The one that came when it was right before Legend, where she had that little device, the little throw rope device, where she had that one.
They
What's
put the rope device in the remake,
there? It
dude.
is.
Yeah.
There's my man. There's my man. Hold those up for me. Hold those up for you. You got
These are the ones for
Tomb
the
Raider
Yeah,
new
that's
Anniversary,
the end. That's yeah. Anniversary is just a remake of the
anniversary,
first game.
Legend,
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 and
yeah,
then
and
and
Underworld.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, those were the
Legend
three
was freaking.
best.
Legend was great.
Yeah, Legend was
Well, Anniversary is
fantastic.
just a remake of the first one in the new style. That's all that was.
That's true, but I still really liked it. I really liked it a lot. Um,
Hmm.
because it was just the story was just really on point with that one. Let's move to another retro to modern title, and this one is has a controversial history, but it also has a couple of really bad games. What about Mortal Kombat? I mean, Mortal Kombat when it first came out was great. GQ and I spent a lot of time at the store across the street from our school playing Mortal Kombat against all comers. Mortal Kombat
Oh,
2,
I remember those.
same thing. Mortal Kombat
I was at
3,
Main Street playing Mortal
yeah,
Kombat.
but Mortal Kombat 3 kind of like started the decline a little bit, I guess you could say, and then it had some really bad games in between there. So which do we prefer? Do we like the simplicity of the old Mortal Kombat? You go back and try and play Mortal Kombat 2 now. Um,
Still fun.
it's still
Yeah,
fun.
Mortal
It
Kombat
is
2
still
is,
fun.
is still good.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
good, but I can't do three. I can't do three at all.
No, I still like 3 too. I used to skip school to go play 3. I remember that came out and the internet was
That was
still fresh.
Yeah, that was
Had to friggin'
the first one with the dial combos, which is
yeah,
which
well,
is
it
kind of
definitely had
stayed.
dial-up combo.
Yeah, which is kind of stayed through. So, Datakuji, you tell us a little bit. Which one would you prefer? You prefer the old school Mortal Kombat, or you like the new school? Even though Mortal Kombat 10 was kind of a disappointment. What do you think?
See, okay, up until I see, like, if Mortal Kombat 9 never came out, I definitely would have said retro because Mortal Kombat has a special place in the heart. I can definitely go back and play part 1. Before we started, I had my Vita out and I'm playing Mortal Kombat 9 or the new remake of Mortal Kombat on my Vita because I I I really like Mortal Kombat 9, if you want to call it Mortal Kombat 10, just because they've improved the gameplay is really good. Out of all the Mortal Kombats, this one has the best gameplay. And Mortal Kombat was always known for its story. That's why it was so easy to do a good movie. Uh, yeah, just the first one. It was so easy to do a good movie because it had a story, but they really did a great job on Mortal Kombat 9 with the story mode. I mean, no other video game that I can think of off the top of my head has done that well. They've tried. Street Fighter tried. It's a piece of shit. Street Fighter 5, that is. Guilty Gear X Erd kind of has a small little story mode in there, but it's still not nearly as close as Mortal Kombat. I mean, they really made extensive storylines. They made the cutscenes real good. The way it flowed, it was long. And the disappointment of Mortal Kombat 10 was just the story mode for me. I mean, the gameplay was still good. The graphics are top notch. All that other good stuff. So, like, if Mortal Kombat stopped at 3, never made
Mm-hmm.
4,
Mm-hmm.
Armageddon, Deadly Alliance, and all those other ones,
Mm-hmm.
I would say completely the retro, because retro for me is 1, 2, 3. 4 was kind of a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Daily Alliance was not that bad. I own all the PlayStation 2 ones, and they were horrible. But the modern ones for the 360, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
those take the cake. Those are great. I would put those over 1, 2, and 3 any day.
GQ, you got any comments to add, or you Kahuna? Any comments to add?
No, I agree with what Dadakuji said about it. I mean, two is still out of the originals. It's still my favorite one
Mm-hmm.
as far as just because I mean I used to play every single character in that game
Mm-hmm.
like equally well,
And Shang
and
Tsung was
that's why I
awesome.
used to play Shang. That's why I used to play Shang Tsung just to
Yeah.
really mess with people because it's like
Right.
okay, anybody you pick, I can counter and turn into
Mm-hmm.
and fight you or do whatever I need to do. But I like what they did with 9. I mean, just 9 was just holy crap. I mean, just starting off the story. The story was like what a good 2.5, maybe 3 hour story that took you through the events of the first 3 games. And having you play different characters throughout the whole story, so that made it fun. The crypt, tons of unlockable stuff in game, not buying it, not going to a season pass or anything else. Like you can unlock stuff right there in the game, so that was awesome. And then, on top of that, the actual, fight, multiplayer fighting against your friends stuff was great. So, I mean, the Mortal Kombat 9 to me is the definitive Mortal Kombat. I mean, the only thing that could have made it better is if it would have had an option to play 1, 2, and 3 right there off of the menu or something. But of course, they released those separately anyway. But 10, was definitely a letdown because 9 set the bar so high that it was just like, how are you really going to do something as good as what you guys just did? Because you don't have enough story to tell. You've already told all the story. So, yeah, 10 story was a little bit weak, but the game itself is still solid. I really wish, though, that they could have had Freddy in there so you could finally have Freddy versus Jason. That's the only thing missing.
That would have
Well,
been
look who's
the
in the.
bee's knees.
Oh, I gotta give a shout out to someone who's joining. Miss Bianca Van Meter has joined the show. Say hi, everybody. She's going to be with us later this week. Joining. She's a recent addition to the discussion group.
Pickle
We
juice.
pick. Yes, indeed,
Pickle juice.
Pickle juice. Oh, you remember we had this
That's your
discussion.
name now. You know that, right?
Pickle juice. Okay, yeah, pickle juice.
Pickle juice. Pickle juice. Pickle juice.
I like that. That's great. That's great. Not bad. I like that. So anyway, guys, it's been a great discussion on retro and modern games. I think it was some really good things that we kind of hashed out here. If we had a choice, I mean, obviously you can't move backwards, but what would you say your favorite era of gaming? Would it be retro or would it be modern? If you had to pick a choice, what would be your favorite overall? Everybody, pick one. What would be your favorite?
My
My,
life. You said
uh,
what's because retro and modern, man. I can't pick one. I love them all.
Okay, fair enough.
minus the DLC aspect, and definitely now.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Adobo Girl.
I'm still playing catch up.
House
So
Riley. House Riley says retro. That's cool. Hooper Love says modern. Okay. What about you? You're
yeah.
still playing catch up, so you still would say you're retro? Would you say
I'm
you're retro still?
super retro. Yeah,
Super
this
retro.
is how retro I go. Okay, you want to talk about a game that has a modern counterpart?
Mm-hmm.
I think a few episodes ago we talked about the Oregon Trail. That was my jam back in the
Oh
80s. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
the
dating
Oregon
myself.
Trail.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oregon Trail. So I looked it up online and I didn't know it was like a
Updated.
Swift based or a Flash based game now. And I
Mm-hmm.
found it on Facebook, and it was one of those like Candy Crush type games. And I was getting into it until they started asking
What?
for money. Yeah,
Oh
dude.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So I'll stick with modern. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. There's no,
You mean you'll stick with retro?
in-game
You'll stick with
asking.
retro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Stick with retro.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
stick with retro for
Y-
now. I'm
And
catching up. I'm catching
yeah,
up.
okay, that's cool. What about you, Kahuna? Seeing as how all your video game juju has left you or has been sucked out of you, obviously you're going to stick with retro, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still like both. When I get a chance to play other games,
No,
but
man, you ain't got no
retro.
skills. You ain't got no skills. You might as well just hang it up and just
Oh
stick with the
man.
retro, man. You ain't got no skills.
Okay, I'll stick with retro then.
Yeah, yeah, stick with retro. But you know what? Still, you need to
I'll be
come on.
back.
Yeah, you need to come to fight night so we can kind of put you through your paces, right, GQ?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's welcome
Yeah,
to.
it's not like it's like riding a bike in a lot of cases. Maybe well maybe I don't know, maybe you shouldn't come to fight night because the mass whoopings we'll put on you might lead to
No,
some
no,
traumatic memories. Might lead to
I
some
wouldn't.
traumatic
No,
memories.
no,
You
I didn't. I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there. Okay, that's cool.
I'll be.
Um,
I forgot Vigo the Carpathian's little speech, but that
But death is but a door,
death is
time is
but a
but a
door.
window.
I'll
I'll
be
be
back.
back.
Yeah,
yeah, that would be it.
I'll be back.
That
I'll be
would be
back.
it. Okay. Um, Megashawn, you said modern. GQ, let's get to you, and then I'll put in my two
I'm
cents.
going to say modern because essentially you can just mod a system and play everything retro for free. So you get the
Yeah,
best of both worlds.
there's a life hack for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, realistically, there's only a few retro games that I like. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. That's still, to this day, one of my most favorite Contra games. Um, Mike Tyson's Punch Out is still fun to play.
Oh man, stuff still keeps
You
coming out
know,
about that game too.
well, no, that stuff is weak. I'm like, oh, the bearded dude ducks. Whatever. If you just knew the timing, you didn't have to look in the crowd. You're supposed to be paying attention to your opponent, not the
Yeah,
crowd.
yeah. Okay. Well, for my two cents, I know we kind of didn't. Bianca Van Meter says the modern version is not as fun. There may be some truth to that, because I remember back in the day, a couple of my favorite games to play on the NES were Bionic Commando and Strider. And Bionic
Oh,
Commando, uh,
I love Bionic Commando,
Bionic Commando was the truth, man.
Master
And
Blaster.
yeah, Master Blaster too. But Bionic Commando, when they did the rearmed, I was in heaven because it was the old Bionic Commando with updated graphics. I mean, it was just like it. It was incredible. It was incredible. Oh, Bianca, by the way, Kahuna, she says she's gonna go take a shot of that pickle juice right now. Chilled, I'm sure. Um, anyway,
Ugh.
anyway, and I also loved Blades of Steel. So the modern games, I don't know, maybe that's just nostalgia speaking, but some of them aren't quite as fun. Maybe because they're not as simplistic, but I can't ignore that you get a deeper experience with the modern stuff. So I'd have to stick with modern. Hopefully they can bring some of the fun back and less of the DLC
I'll
moving
tell you,
forward.
the game that has a special place in my heart is still NES Super Mario Brothers,
The original.
and
Hmm.
yeah, the yeah, um, and basically because back in Hawaii when I used to go to the arcade, all I needed was 1 quarter to play to beat the whole game. Because when I learned how to get the multi men
Hmm.
by bouncing
Bouncing
the
on the
turtle
on the
off of
turtle
the
shell.
stairs.
Hmm.
Yes. Oh man, I remember being in an arcade just for a long time. All I needed was 1 quarter, and I played that whole game and beat it.
Right. Yeah. So it was a great discussion. I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you all for contributing. Uh, Reminder: tomorrow we're going to be talking about comics. We're going to have a special guest, Dan Merritt of the owner of Green Brain Comics. He's going to join us. We're going to be talking about the up and coming favorite comic book artists. Who's next? We know about Jim Lee. We know about Alex Ross, Todd McFarlane, to name a few. But who's this? Who's next? Who's coming? Who's someone that you really should kind of watch out for? Um, and I want to say again that you guys really need to join our contest. 5 seconds of your time can win you 2 tickets to see Captain America, a dinner on us, and free T-shirts. They're really nice T-shirts too. We'll have to show you maybe sometime. So in any case, for all the crew, for the Big Kahuna, for a Double Girl, for Megashawn, for GQ, for the Great Datakuji, I'm Kishiro. Hasta mañana. Say goodbye, everybody.
Check y'all out
Hasta la pasta.
later.
Goodbye, everybody.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, dead bodies to the kitchen.
Where you are, by the way, in the kitchen. So,
That's Mutant League football.
oh yeah, I know that. Say goodbye, GQ.
Goodbye, GQ.
All right.